You are our beloved loyal viewers. You are welcome to a show dubbed The Bitter Truth. The Bitter Truth. We are humbly pleading if today is the first time that you are watching The Bitter Truth on Ghana Bad News YouTube channel, we are humbly pleading with you to subscribe to Ghana Bad News YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell, and most importantly for us, drop your views, comment, and opinion in the comment section. Remember, it is important for us. You are the reason we bring this show your way. Once again, you are welcome to The Bitter Truth. Namanka fe yo mana ko ba de ba yo na dwumedi a ya tobaro yesesie na ya to ne zam no ko wiwin chumedi no ko wiwin chumedi sandanyi da ozikan a ahwehwe dwumedi wo Ghana Ba News YouTube another Ghana Ba News Facebook channel ahobiase mara yanesa da yanesa yom yetutu asro there subscribe to your YouTube Ghana Bad News channel. Click adamana wala dem baba ya bibiara yedi dwumedi we bodonen ana yezi yini dwumanana obobo nke na abaka ho kaide dwumedi reten aranyin the call winwin owonti ina yechiche dwumedi ni yeze bawa kwem. Yes, subscribe. Click adamana wo YouTube channel no dodanan na za ohu yana kasanye be mayanti wa dwuchere ususu fa yini dwumedi a yemizi ende dwumedi a yewekasa fa honan yehwe oye za okodo wo oye Burkina Faso bir a soja aban na webezi Burkina Faso aman wodo na oye bebin a wenyefi ebesa isom na oye mampanyin wo Burkina Faso mfie bie na abaseni abrantin otu abani bi mande soja abani webezi yim awawodze nzepa a oye wo oye Burkina Faso manemunenan ono ho komo na yepa yonyize za oye nenan ahye oye abrofo aman ahobinum ebufu ne dementi world period there kwanin dere wo bofodo obotu efi azedo ono na abrofo aman binum wa hyase worye the joya yo ho oye nyimguase oye yo kase nyede oye abrofo dem anamontu a wotu wodzi inyenara yemu ebibifo oye African ebibire mba binum na wodie wonodo na wopede wodzi oye anamon bona otedami wotu woditia oye Burkina Faso mananan ne da minti ende yene dwumedi etifi asema yede atodononon onini yes Ibrahim, Captain Ibrahim Traore, that is oya Burkina Faso mampenyinin atamfo a wenya onam mozembo onam amnombu papa odze ma oya Burkina Faso manananan ende Captain Ibrahim Traore oya soja aban a oya Burkina Faso ende ono na waya the rising star ono na wabaye insuma zi ama ebibiman onam amembu papa orubu wo oye Burkina Faso ono no ho asam na yareka. You're welcome to the Bitter Truth show, and today what we are discussing, we all agree that one of the challenge for the development of African continent is about leadership, lack of quality leadership. Lack of quality leadership has affected the progress and the development of the continent of Africa. You will recall that the few African leaders who has emerged and has exhibited quality leadership, all those high class quality leadership attracted enemies to themselves. The foreign institutions, the foreign countries became an enemy to them. They were targeted. We can talk about Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who had independence for Ghana. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was willing to lead and to liberate African continent. But what happened to him? Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah became an enemy for the world. He attracted enmity to himself because of his persistent quality leadership that he was giving to Africa. Sankara has suffered a similar fate when he rose to lead Burkina Faso. Muammar Gaddafi has not been spared. He also suffered a similar fate, and this is what we are talking about. African continent has suffered from quality leadership, and this is what we are talking about. You all recall that the military leader of Burkina Faso, a young, energetic captain, Ibrahim Traore, is doing wonderful as the leader of Burkina Faso. In recent past few years, that Captain Ibrahim Traore led Burkina Faso. You all agree with us that Burkina Faso has witnessed some significant transformation, but he has started attracting enemies to himself. And as a result of that, since leadership, quality leadership, has been a major challenge for the continent of Africa. One will say African continent is endowed with abundant resources, that when we talk about development, African continent, Africans should not be developing in poverty, but because of lack of quality leadership, African continent has been deprived. African continent is among one of the poorest continents in the world when we talk about development. And Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is redefining leadership. So we have decided to title today's presentation as Enemies of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the rising star of Africa, redefining leadership in Burkina Faso. Enemies of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the rising star of Africa, redefining leadership in Burkina Faso. This is what we are talking about on the bitter truth. Before we share our perspective, we would like to give our viewers the opportunity to listen to this rising star of Africa, Captain Ibrahim Traore, doing wonders in Burkina Faso. Let us go and listen to him. And thus, we are describing him as the rising star of Africa. And probably, or hopefully, you will agree with the bitter truth. Just watch him. Listen to him.
The citizen vigilance that you have engaged is a message to all of Africa. And Burkina Faso is in solidarity and supports all the peoples of Africa who suffer martyrdom. But we also want to say that it is time for Africans to stop pitying themselves, to stop moping, to stop lamenting. You have to fight. It will not come from heaven alone. You have to fight first, and God will help you. The speech you are about to listen to is the single speech that made France, through ECOWAS and the West, to want to take out Captain Ibrahim Traore right now. This fierce speech ripped the mask off imperialism, exposing the West's many decades-long sabotage and calling on Africans to fight for real sovereignty. Traore didn't just name the enemy, he laid bare their entire playbook, from manufactured terror to economic strangulation. He shattered the old illusion that Africans must forever beg or obey. And he made it clear, this continent will no longer be a playground for imperialists. This definitely angered them to the core, and now we see their moves and tactics to try to take out Traore. This speech will fire you up. Have a listen, and please share your thoughts with us all in the comments section. This is Uplifting Africa. Comrades, I would like us to give thanks to God who has shown us this day and who has allowed us to gather here. Let us pay homage to our FDS and our valiant VDP who are fighting on the front lines, and it is thanks to them that we can gather here to commune. Let us also pay homage to you, those who have been nicknamed the Watchmen. And you who watch over this transition, you who watch over the path we have traced, thank you very much. We cannot make a revolution without communicating. Some will say that we should not talk too much, but when we do not talk, manipulation takes over the field. Understand something. The father of the revolution communicated a lot. I am speaking here of Thomas Sankara. In one of his speeches, he told you this. Imperialism is a bad student because when it is chased out of the classroom, it comes back. And I remember that in his address to his peers in ECOWAS, he said that to cut the umbilical cord that binds us to imperialism, you would not look for a state magician with clever fingers, a well-sharpened scissor to cut this cord. But rather, you would need a robust lumberjack with a well-sharpened axe to give a sharp blow and cut the cord. That says it all. I will explain a little how imperialism behaves. After the assassination of the father of the revolution, precisely the regime that imperialism wanted was installed. In the 90s, you all remember a program that was imposed on us, the Structural Adjustment Program. It was a plan. I will explain. By implementing this program in our countries, you noticed, over the 2 decades that followed, that all our factories that were in place were privatized. Our economy was destructured. They put in place a neo-colonial system, a system of wild capitalism that only benefits the leaders and their friends, a restricted circle. On the side of the forces, they did everything to destruct our armies. They said to lower the army budgets, to no longer equip them, to no longer train them, which was done in the sub-region. Our armies were reduced to nothing. They were preparing things. During this time, large countries like Niger and Mali experienced a resurgence of what they called rebellions. Separatists, who came from nowhere, tried to divide these countries. They did not succeed, but the culmination of their plan was that from the 2010s, that is, 20 years later, terrorism invited itself into our territories. Indeed, We saw it born 20 years later. Individuals were chosen, and they were simply told, go fight them. Their armies are destructured. We have worked to make this happen. They will never be able to stop you, and you will impose what we want. These individuals recruited innocent, ignorant young people in our various campaigns, to whom they gave drugs, and led them to kill their compatriots, and evil was born. How were these individuals maintained? Do not forget that here in Burkina Faso, we were hosting terrorist leaders. It was well planned. And how to achieve this? When these terrorists were about to launch, there was someone who could perhaps intervene in favor of our states. I am naming here the late General Muammar Gaddafi. He had to be eliminated. And one fine day they fell on him. They eliminated him. They also had in this plan the ingenious idea of putting all sources of weapons and ammunition at the disposal of these terrorists who were to destruct our sub-region. The plan was perfect, and then they got into battle order. They started to descend towards the south. We still remember when the regime in place in Bamako at the time called on foreign forces. It did not take more than a few hours for them to deploy. It was well prepared. They deployed. They pretended to stop terrorism. And immediately we saw the installation of several foreign forces in Mali for 10 years. During these 10 years when terrorism was contained in the north, it invited itself to the south, and Burkina Faso was infested from 2015. Everything was well planned and well thought out. I still remember when we were in Ber in northern Timbuktu. We saw special forces from these countries come and pass us, go deeper, and on their return, they were covered in red. They had small drilling machines and other geological equipment that we contemplated. We wondered where they got this red earth, because when patrolling around Ber, we do not have red earth. Perhaps they were digging, they were probing, we do not know what it was. The Malian sky no longer belonged to Malians. Everything was well thought out. When people who were fighting on the ground, they decided at one point to take responsibility, and here they are, coming out of nowhere. We are called putschists. We are not French. We do not understand what that means. The local lackeys, who surely do not even understand the deep meaning of the word, also call us putschists. Very well, we appropriate it. Over these years, as far as Burkina Faso is concerned, you must have noticed that all the corps have been destructured. No more training, nothing for the army. They imposed in all our general staffs, all our schools, and all our strategic structures what they called military advisors. When we revolted on September 30th, 2022, the first thing was to find out who these military advisors were and where they were. We were therefore able to identify that the evil was deep, and the first thing was to ask them to leave our army. They left, and as I was telling you not long ago, You cannot hope to find your lost object by asking the one who stole it from you to come and help you look for it. It was therefore necessary to decide to take courageous decisions, which we decided to do. It was not without consequence, because when we asked the advisors to leave, we felt demonstrations. We were made to understand that we could not get by without them, and every time they told us that, it translated into large-scale attacks on the ground. We received the message well. When at the beginning of 2023, we decided to tell the foreign forces present here to leave because we want to fight as Burkinabe. They surely did not appreciate it. But why come to die on our lands? We prefer to fight ourselves. We asked them to return to their homes. Unfortunately, I tell you here today, as I like to say, colonization has returned. There are drawing room slaves who still have not understood. At that time, military officers wrote to us and approached us to tell us that it was a very bad decision and that we would not last 2 months. Files were written. We were given these files to give us a strategic analysis of their thoughts. We said it is either we are sovereign or we remain slaves forever. Indeed, when the last soldier left Burkina Faso, we understood what it was all about. The attacks followed immediately, from Tinakov to Partiaga, and so on. But what they had forgotten is that the people of Burkina Faso had understood our message and had embarked on the same path as us. We reorganized quickly, and suddenly we noticed that all the dormant terrorist cells had woken up in Burkina Faso. We reorganized the army as quickly as possible, at an unparalleled speed. We created several units, and even if several others are to come, we have equipped them. And today, this equipment continues because in the days to come, the months to come, what you will see coming to Burkina Faso must make our army a force to be feared. We will not skimp on the means. We have understood that the fight that is engaged against imperialism will be hard, very hard. But only the tough will pass, and the Burkinabe are tough, and we will pass. It is to tell you that imperialism has all the time it wants. When it wants to destabilize, it looks in the immediate. If it is not possible, it lays the groundwork to do it in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. But it has no interest in us being independent today. All they want for Burkina Faso is chaos, because they hope to bring their foreign forces here and hope to recover the situation in 10 years, even in 20 years. But we will never let them achieve this goal. Mais nous ne les laisserons jamais parvenir à cet objectif. Voilà pourquoi. That is why we have warned for more than a year the local lackeys, the drawing room slaves, not to betray their homeland for the benefit of imperialism.
Ils ne trahissent pas leur patrie au profit de l'impérialisme. Certains ont compris, se sont
Some have
rangés.
understood, they have fallen into
D'autres n'ont
line.
pas compris.
Others have not
Peut-être se
understood,
croyant plus malins.
perhaps believing themselves to be
Mais
smarter.
aujourd'hui,
But today we no longer have
nous n'avons
feelings on
plus
this
de
issue.
sentiments sur ce volet. Quiconque va trahir
Anyone who
sa
betrays their
patrie
homeland
au profit
for the
de
benefit of
l'impérialisme,
imperialism
il sera traité comme
will be
tel.
treated as such. Before we continue, if you love what we do here on this channel and would like to support us, then you might consider gifting us a super thanks donation of any amount, or you might as well become an uplifting Africa channel member for exclusive content, perks and more. Links to join are in the pinned comment and in the description box.
Revenant à notre fameuse CEDEAO,
Returning to our famous ECOWAS,
depuis que nous avons décidé
since we decided to
de
leave
quitter la
ECOWAS,
CEDEAO, les esclaves de salon
the drawing
ont
room
été
slaves have been put into
actionnés
action everywhere.
partout. Ils veulent faire peur au peuple.
They want to scare the
Ils
people.
veulent faire
They want to
peur à
scare
tout le
everyone.
monde. Dieu merci. Dans
Thank
un
God,
passé récent,
in the recent past,
il n'y
there were
avait
only a
que
handful of
moyen de
people
gens
who had the
qui
right
avaient
to
droit à
speak
la
on
parole.
television sets.
Sur les plateaux télé, c'est ce qu'ils se disaient.
What
qui
they
était
said
donc
was
prêt
taken
pour
as
l'évangile.
gospel.
Aujourd'hui, avec les nouvelles technologies,
Today, with the
qui ont
new
bien sûr
technologies
des
that have,
avantages et des
of course,
inconvénients,
advantages
tout
and
le monde a
disadvantages,
droit à la parole.
everyone has the right to speak.
Et je pense que les Wanyis,
And
sont
I
les
think you are the
premiers à
first
confirmer
to
cela.
confirm that.
Chacun peut faire son analyse sur une situation.
Everyone can analyze a situation.
On peut certes
You can
se
certainly
tromper,
be wrong, but when
mais
you come to us
lorsqu'on
to
vient
understand,
vers nous
we are
pour
very open
comprendre,
to
nous
explain
sommes
the
bien
steps.
ouverts pour vous expliquer les démarches. Ici, nous allons vous expliquer
Here,
pourquoi
we will explain why we
nous
left
avons quitté
ECOWAS
cette
and where we are
CEDEAO
going.
et vers où nous partons. Souvenez-vous que c'est en 1975 que ça a été
Remember
créé.
that it was created in
Et ça a été
1975,
créé
and it
pour
was
la
created
majorité des
for the
chefs
majority
d'État,
of putschist heads of state,
putschistes, comme
as
ils
they
aiment
like
le
to
dire.
say.
C'était des militaires qui ont pris le pouvoir.
It was the
et qui ont
military
pris
who
la
took power
responsabilité
and
pour
who took
créer la
responsibility
CEDEAO
for creating
pour qu'il y ait
ECOWAS,
un
so that there
véritable
would be a
essor
real
économique
economic boom for
des
the people
peuples
within
à
this
l'intérieur
space.
donc de cet espace. Plus tard, les soi-disant démocrates
Later,
se
the
sont
so-called
invités
Democrats
donc à la
invited
tête de nos
themselves
États.
to the head of our states. They
Ils ont
completely
vidé
emptied the community of its
complètement
foundation.
la communauté de son fondement. Lorsque le 26 juillet,
When on July
Niger a
26th,
décidé de prendre son destin
Niger
en
decided
main,
to take its destiny into its own
nous
hands.
étions surpris de voir
We
la
were surprised to
CEDEAO
see ECOWAS appear
apparaître de je ne sais où avec une
with a
force
standby
en
force.
attente. Où était cette force?
Where was this force
Lorsque des
when
milliers
thousands
et
and
des
thousands
milliers
of
de
Nigerians
Nigériens
were
étaient
killed
tués
by
par des
terrorists?
terroristes? Où était cette force?
Where was this
Lorsque des
force when
milliers de
thousands of
Maliens et de
Malians and
Burkinabés
Burkinabés
mouraient
died under
sous
the
les balles
bullets
des
of
terroristes?
terrorists?
Ils ont dit que par la
They
force,
said that by
ils
force
allaient
they would
déloger
dislodge the
donc
valiant sons of Niger
les vaillants
who took
fils
the
du
destiny of
Niger
the country
qui ont
into their
pris
own
le
hands.
destin en main du pays. Croyez-vous que ce sont des femmelettes qui sont au
Do you
Niger?
believe that they are weaklings in Niger?
Il y a des combattants là-bas.
There are
L'armée
fighters there.
nigérienne est guerrière.
The Nigerian army is a warrior
Depuis
army.
des années.
They have been fighting for years.
Ce n'est pas une armée de défilés,
It is not a parade army or a
ou une armée de
peacekeeping army.
maintien de paix.
And the armies of the AES
Et
have
les
decided to
armées de
unite.
l'AES ont décidé de s'unir. Nous attendons cette force.
We are waiting for this standby force.
Il faut que ces soi-disant
These so-called Democrats must understand that when thousands of Nigerians die on their hospital beds
sont morts sur leur lit d'hôpital par manque d'électricité,
for lack of electricity or lack of
par
medicine,
manque de médicaments. C'est du crime.
it is a crime.
Ils sont responsables de ces
They are
sanctions,
responsible
ils sont
for these
responsables de
sanctions.
ces morts.
They are responsible for these deaths.
La même chose se passe au Mali.
The same thing is
Avec
happening
le
in Mali and
nous
Burkina
avons des
Faso.
sanctions
We have
indirectes.
indirect sanctions because
Parce qu'il
people
faut
must
que les gens
understand
comprennent. Lorsqu'ils prennent
that when they go to take their instructions from the other side, they come and do everything to apply them. It is shameful. Some have decided not to supply electricity to our countries. It is not free, we pay, and it contributes to their economy. They tried to make Mali suffer. And of course, by ignoring all the texts and no longer giving electricity to Mali, hoping that the population would revolt, it does not work. When it lasted, some were forced to make their own people pay by increasing the cost of electricity. It will increase further. This gives us several lessons. Several lessons in the sense that the independence we take, the sovereignty we take, we must do everything to ensure it. They have given us very good lessons, and we have understood very well. Some have closed their ports, which is moreover contrary to all international texts, because you cannot close ports to a landlocked country. They did it, the texts. The international community said nothing. No one spoke in ECOWAS. But in the ports we do not transit our goods for free. We pay. And those who do so are today reaping the broken pots. And I think it is also a lesson for them that they should never apply the instructions of their master. They must understand that forever. ECOWAS has never made a statement to congratulate a victory of our armies. It hardly condemns with the tip of its lips, and very rarely when there are massacres. Where is this ECOWAS of the peoples? In short, we cannot list everything that has been done to our peoples. But we have decided in all conscience to withdraw and concentrate on our common organization, the AES. Remember that there is no fear, because by prospecting and putting ourselves to work, we have noticed one thing lately. Some have decided to ban the export of certain food products to Burkina Faso. Very well, they have given a deadline. We will ensure that at the end of this deadline, we will ban the entry of these products into our territory. We are capable, and we are very, very capable. We have gained a lot of experience this year. And I can assure you that on the food front, Burkina Faso can be self-sufficient, and we have brave farmers. We will do everything possible so that our farmers can cultivate their land and farm with dignity. And I challenge anyone who doubts this, that if we decide today in Burkina Faso to be in 3 years or 5 years the leading exporter of cocoa, we will be. Because we can. On industrialization, several projects are underway for 2024. We will not list them here, but it is underway. We will do everything so that these projects see the light of day in 2024. When you take the economy, when you listen to them, it is pitiful. They do not even have the courage to make the people understand that there is less than 5% of economic exchange between the states of ECOWAS. Because everything we bring comes from outside the ECOWAS area. Our imports, for the majority, and everything we export goes outside the ECOWAS area. The intellectual dishonesty of some prevents them from saying it, because they are drawing room slaves. They cannot tell you that, so that you can be confident. But I urge you to remain confident, serene, imperturbable. Because we can have this independence, both on the food front and on the industrial front. It is possible, and we are on this path. So the words that tend to scare you, that tend to sow panic, you must get rid of them. Get to work, and we will get there. Returning therefore to a general aspect in Africa, Thomas Sankara said that the slave who is not capable of assuming his revolt does not deserve that one pities his fate. He alone will answer for his misfortune if he deludes himself about the suspicious condescension of a master who pretends to free him. Only struggle liberates. And I will tell you that if to free himself, a slave deludes himself about the providence of a belief that his master imposed on him to keep him in darkness, he is fooling himself. He will remain forever blind in darkness and will never see the light of day. God himself said, God does not like the lazy. God does not like the ignorant. God does not like the one who does not fight. For as they say, God helps those who help themselves. And I will not pass over in silence a part of the slogan of the pioneers who live today among us. Dare to fight, know how to win. We dared to fight within the AES, and we will know how to win. Have no fear. The citizen vigilance that you have engaged is a message to all of Africa. And Burkina Faso is in solidarity and supports all the peoples of Africa who suffer martyrdom. But we also want to say that it is time for Africans to stop pitying themselves, to stop moping, to stop lamenting. You have to fight. It will not come from heaven alone. You have to fight first, and God will help you. And Burkina Faso is ready to help all the peoples who Tell all these peoples who are fighting that it is time for them to tell the truth to their leaders. In Burkina Faso, when it was a question for us to contribute so that the FDS were equipped, the deputies no longer have a salary today. They only have session allowances. The salaries of ministers have been reduced to the maximum, and the people contribute. You cannot fight and want the leaders to be in an insulting luxury for the peoples. The peoples must wake up and demand this from their leaders. And to conclude, I launch an appeal to all the peoples of the AES through you, so that they remain united and in solidarity.
La lutte que
All
nous avons
suffering has an
engagée
end. The fight we have undertaken is hard, but we must keep our heads on our shoulders because the fatal weapon of imperialism remains manipulation through
parce que
communication.
l'arme fatale de l'impérialisme reste la manipulation à travers la communication. Sachez reconnaître les valets locaux.
Know how to recognize the local lackeys. Know how to recognize the drawing room slaves.
Sachez reconnaître tous ceux-là qu'on soudoie
Know how to
pour
recognize
venir
all
vous
those
vendre
who are
de
bribed
fausses
to come and
informations.
sell you false information.
Pour vous-même, restez serein et
For
ne vous
yourselves,
divisez pas.
remain serene and do not divide yourselves because imperialism has 1,000 tricks in its bag.
Vous devez être vigilant.
You must be
et
vigilant,
très
vigilant, and very vigilant.
Merci à vous les VDP
Thank you
dans
to
les
you,
différentes
the
villes qui
VDP of the
veillent
different
jour
cities,
et nuit
who watch day and
pour que
night
notre
so that
patrie
our
reste
homeland remains
debout.
standing,
Et donc rendez hommage tous les jours aux
and therefore pay
FDS
homage
et aux
every
VDP
day
qui se battent
to the
pour nous.
FDS and the VDP
Merci
who are
beaucoup pour
fighting
votre
on the front
attention.
lines.
Merci
Thank
à
you
tous
very
ceux
much for
qui
your
se sont
attention.
déplacés
Thank you to
ici
all those who have come here so that we can talk. Thank you to those who are outside who could not
Merci à
access.
ceux qui sont dehors
Homeland
qui
or
n'ont pas pu
death,
accéder.
we shall overcome.
La patrie ou la mort, nous d'accord.
I hope you have been inspired by the speech, the excellent speech, the energizing speech that was delivered, the motivational speech, the determination, the willingness of youthful Captain Ibrahim Traore, the military leader of Burkina Faso, whom this platform, the Bitter Truth platform, is describing as the rising star of Africa, redefining excellent leadership in Burkina Faso. I believe you will strongly agree with us. The reason we have titled today's presentation as Enemies of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the rising star of Africa. Lack of leadership has failed this continent. Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, redefining what leadership is. Thumbs up to this young military leader. And don't be surprised the love that this young man has received from the people of Burkina Faso. And we are saying enemies of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the rising star of Africa, redefining leadership in Burkina Faso. There are a lot of things that he said in his speech, which the Bitter Truth platform wholeheartedly agree with him. Africa must transcend beyond aid. African leaders must watch and take a lesson from Captain Ibrahim Traore. May God continue to endow Africa countries with such leadership. Remember, the show you are watching is the Bitter Truth. These are hard facts that are hardly told, but the Bitter Truth, we will say it. Let Africa live up to its high responsibility towards the citizens of the continent. Captain Ibrahim Traore, may God continue to watch, protect, and guide you. Let the youth of Africa, not only those of Burkina Faso, rise to the defense of Captain Ibrahim Traore and all those military leaders, true, honest, brave leaders who are prepared to lay their lives down for the development of their citizens. And thus is what Africa demands. Thus is what Africa needs. His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama, you cannot afford to let the people of Ghana down. In as much as you are trying within your tenure to bring those breakaways back to ECOWAS and African Union, do not lose sight of the fact that the way they are going is what Africa needs. Africa needs honest, bold, motivational political leaders. This is the only way that the continent of Africa can be liberated from the shackles of poverty. This is the bitter truth. Truth is bitter. These are half-hearts that are not told, but we would rise to defend the cause of truth. Remember, the show you're watching is the bitter truth. We are calling on Africa to rise. We are calling on the world already to speak against those who are plotting towards the efforts of Burkina Faso, the Sahel countries. Thus is the bitter truth. The OA, the African Union silence on the assassination attempt, several assassination attempts on the life of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the silence of ECOWAS, the silence of African Union is too loud and deafening. Let's rise to defense. He kept silent. Muammar Gaddafi was ousted, killed, and just family. The president Mugabe suffered because he stood to defend the cause of his country. Please, let the world speak against these things. Let the world promote good governance, good leadership. Let Africa unite. This is the bitter truth. Thank you for watching the show. Remember to subscribe to Ganamba News YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell, and most importantly, let's get interactive. Let's hear from you. How do you see the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, who the bitter truth is describing as the rising star of Africa, redefining leadership in Burkina Faso? Thank you for spending your data to watch this show. May God bless you. May He protect and watch over you. May He protect the honest African leaders. This is the bitter truth. We say goodbye. Stay blessed. So we'll come your way with another unadulterated, authentic